Who's ready for the free agent frenzy of July 1st? October 9th. Let's be real, it's March 225th. A lot of players are going to free agency, many unrestricted free agency, and there are some big names. Some names that are maybe a little bit bigger than they should be, and others that I'm surprised no one's talking about more. So without further delay, because free agents do not always remain so, here are my top 10 UFAs for this 2020 weird free agency period in October. Coming in at number 10, we have Tyler Toffoli.
Across, Toffoli scores! Understands what it takes to win. Just a guy you can inject right in there.
A championship pedigree. Sure, there's a handful of teams that be looking for a guy like Tyler Toffoli.
What happens when you're a point producer on a team that doesn't score? That was kind of the question that Tyler Toffoli was faced when the LA Kings, who won the Stanley Cup in 2014, began to very not be the Stanley Cup champions anymore. Last season, even though the LA Kings didn't really bounce back, Tyler Toffoli did. He had more goals and the same amount of points as he did in the previous season, but in 24 fewer games. That allowed for the LA Kings to trade him for a pretty penny to the Vancouver Canucks. The problem with the pretty penny is the Vancouver Canucks did not have Tyler Toffoli for nearly the amount of time they thought he would because of, well, COVID, I don't know if you heard. But he was extremely useful in the 10 games he played as a Canuck, scoring 6 goals, 4 assists, 10 points. He was a point a game. And even though he missed some time due to injury in the bubble, it was very obvious that the Canucks were a better team with him, still contributing 2 goals and 2 assists for 4 points in 7 playoff games. Even though he was injured in the bubble, Tyler Toffoli's track record does not suggest he's injured very often. He doesn't miss a ton of games. And at 28 years old, which is younger than a lot of the big name free agents out there, you don't have to worry about term nearly as much. In the right situation, there's no reason Tyler Toffoli shouldn't bang in at least 20 goals for your team. Number 9, this one's spicy, Anton Khudobin.
We're not going home!
Mr. We're not going home needs a new home. You're gonna think this is recency bias. He just had the hot Stanley Cup final. Really, Steve? A 34-year-old career backup goalie is your number 9 free agent. Yeah, I do think that because I don't think he's a backup goalie. It is true that his career high in games played is 41. Yes, that is true. And maybe he's a backup goalie to Ben Bishop, who was nominated for the Vezina just the year before. And yes, Khudobin had a poor .904 save percentage in 16-17 with the Bruins, but he followed that up with a .913 save percentage. He goes to the Dallas Stars, first season a .923, this past season .930, which is goofy. If it seems like he's getting better with age, I think that's because he is. Spoiler alert, Braden Holtby is later on this list, and I honestly considered putting Khudobin ahead of him, in part because he's probably going to come in at like half the price. I think Anton Khudobin is about to get the biggest payday of his career, and he'll still probably be a bargain for whoever he goes to. At number 8, our first defenseman, TJ Brodie.
Here's Brodie gonna tee it up and score! A rocket from Brodie! TJ Brodie is an absolute treat to watch out there.
He's not the biggest defenseman in the world at well under 200 pounds, and he's 30 years old, otherwise known as the wrong side of 30. But don't let last season's 19 points fool you. He's typically money in the bank for at least 30 points. That's not nothing for a defender. Well, why did he have so few points? Well, the one single power play assist might have something to do with it. And that's something that's so key with defensemen. It's key with anybody you're going to sign. Are you signing them because they're just a great player, or do you have an actual fit for them? With the right fit, he should be a strong, probably second pair guy for a very lucky team. Probably eat up about 20 minutes. He can play on your power play. He can do a lot of things for you. At number 7, another defenseman. This one might be controversial, but the tie break, left-handed versus right-handed, Tyson Barrie.
Nylander has a man in front, scores! Tyson Barrie!
This guy is a prototypical modern defenseman.
Now, I don't buy into the Toronto media hype, but this is a case of it going overboard. Because Tyson Barrie had a struggle season with the Toronto Maple Leafs. His advanced stats are not very good. This guy, for a defender, is not great in his own end. He doesn't provide a ton of stops. And by the end of his tenure with the Leafs, he was relegated to the third pair. Which kind of makes it even more amazing that Tyson Barrie scored 39 points in a down season with the Leafs and scored at a 45-point pace had the season not ended early. He's an offensive defenseman and a power play specialist. If you have a vacancy on your team's top power play, Tyson Barrie could put up 40, 50, even 60 points for you. Even if he doesn't achieve those cartoony numbers he had with Colorado ever again, you can pretty much bank he's going to have more than 5 goals, which is what he had with the Leafs. At number 6, and this one is very interesting and I already alluded to it, Braden Holtby with the Washington Capitals. Well, formerly.
Oh, what a stop, Holtby! Are you kidding me? Cat-like reflexes by Holtby.
Braden Holtby looks confident and aggressive.
Braden Holtby, the Holt Beast, was a dominant force in the net for the Washington Capitals for over half a decade and was a huge reason for why the Washington Capitals won the Stanley Cup in 2018. Remember, back-to-back shutouts in the Eastern Conference Final against the Tampa Bay Lightning. It wasn't just the Columbus choke. But that 2018 playoff run, it sort of cut right into the middle of what has now been a 3-year bad trend for Holtby. In fact, Holtby didn't even begin those playoffs as the Washington Capitals starter. He had kind of lost his job temporarily to Philip Grubauer. He was a .907 save percentage in 54 games that season, which isn't great. Bounced back with a .911 save percentage, a little bit better in 59 games the following season. This past season, in much more of a platoon role, he was an .897 in 48 games, and he wasn't that much better in the playoffs either. Now, maybe that's just the sun setting on the Washington Capitals. Maybe it's just Braden Holtby needing a change of scenery. But now we have another goaltender in this free agency period with a stellar track record on the wrong side of 30. He's 31, numbers trending downwards. Is Braden Holtby going to be this offseason's Sergei Bobrovsky? Because after all, it's Braden Holtby. He could bounce back, or he could be a very expensive mistake. Our number 5 player, getting back to the forwards, Evgeny Dadonov. No, he's not in the KHL. He plays for the Florida Panthers. He just doesn't get any attention.
Barkov, all alone, Dadonov, he scores!
He has terrific wheels. Dadonov adds experience, speed, and wise play on the ice.
Seriously, he's one of the best offensive weapons in this league that nobody talks about. Yes, he's 31 years old, but he had 28 goals in each of the past 2 seasons heading into this one, where he had 25, and remember, it got cut short, so he was just shy of a 30-goal pace. That's consistent. What wasn't consistent this season is his assist numbers were way down, but his goal scoring very consistent. He never takes penalties. This guy has 26 penalty minutes in the last 3 seasons combined. Seriously, 10, 8, and 8. You'll never see this guy in the penalty box. There are much bigger name brand scorers available this free agency, and Evgeny Dadonov is about as good as them. He could be a really interesting high impact option for some team out there. I'm very curious to see what number he gets because he deserves a big one. Number 4, staying with the Florida Panthers, and another Florida Panthers winger actually, Mike Hoffman.
Hoffman breaks down the wing against Crawford. Mike Hoffman in front of the backhand, gorgeous!
I mean, he's a pure goal scorer. He's going to get his looks.
He has one of the best releases in the league. He's not a big guy, but he gets a lot of whip on it, and it comes at you quick.
That guy who was a Senator for a really long time and then a San Jose Shark for approximately 5 minutes and then getting flipped to the Panthers. But are you sure? And how much better is he than Hoffman really? We can talk about Taylor Hall's struggle season in a minute, but Mike Hoffman has scored at over a 30-goal pace and a 70-point pace in each of the last 2 seasons. Imagine if you can add that just like that, not having to give up any assets, just cap room. With production and speed like Mike Hoffman brings, he can add an electricity to a team that really needs a jolt. My number 3 player and top goaltender, Jacob Markstrom.
He has been Vancouver's best player this season.
Markstrom! Oh, did you see that?
That was unbelievable.
How many game-saving stops for Jacob Markstrom?
Now, he was a pretty consistent league average, maybe just above league average goalie, kind of 9-10, 9-12 for a long time. And now he's 30 going on 31. But his season in Vancouver this past season, the 2019, which seems forever ago, 2020 season, he was MVP caliber. His .918 save percentage in 43 regular season games, that stat might not even do it justice for how good he was for the Canucks. And he picked up right where he left off in the playoffs. In 14 games, he was a .919. I have him ranked ahead of Braden Holtby because despite the lack of Stanley Cup, His numbers haven't been going down for 3 straight years. They've been going up. Could term be a problem with Jake Markstrom? Yeah, it's possible. It's always possible in free agency. But he appears to be getting better as time goes on. I think Markstrom is going to make some team out there much better. Number 2, our top forward, Taylor Hall.
Keller in front. Hall scores! Taylor Hall goes top corner.
This guy is a stud. He can skate all day. He's fast. He's got a great shot. Lots of offense.
He has the ability to blow the doors off.
Now, we all know how it goes, that how could you leave Connor McDavid out of this conversation? Taylor Hall scores over 90 points, almost 100, and he wins the 2018 Hart Trophy as the NHL's MVP. The following season, with the Devils, he scores at over a point per game for 33 games because he faced injuries. Beginning of last season, he found a way to still get on the score sheet with assists, but man, could that guy not put the puck in the back of the net for the Devils. Gets traded to the Arizona Coyotes, who are looking great, and just his luck that the Devils started to get really good goaltending after Taylor Hall left, and then Darcy Kemper got hurt with the Coyotes, so he didn't get to enjoy that with them. Goaltending, it's always the answer. Does Taylor Hall make the teams that he plays on worse? Goalies. The goalie got hurt. But are you really going to pay top dollar for a guy who just scored 52 points in 65 games, and only 16 of those points were goals? He's 28, he'll be 29 in November, and he's got an MVP trophy under his belt. But you're not signing him for the past, you're signing him for the future. What is Taylor Hall? I would love to see him go to a team with an already high-octane offense to see if he can make them unstoppable. And of course, number 1, I don't know if you've ever heard of this guy, Alex Pietrangelo.
Closing in, makes the move, sends it, Pietrangelo scores! When it's time to make a play, that's the guy that's on the ice. King City, Ontario's Alex Pietrangelo is a Stanley Cup champion.
He's money in the bank for at least a dozen goals and over 40 points per season from the blue line. He hasn't taken more than 30 penalty minutes in a season since 2014. Not bad considering he's pretty big there in front of the net. And he's right-handed, which comes at a premium. And he's got leadership skills. He was a captain, and he was the captain of the Stanley Cup champions. He's a leader, he's a winner, he's big, he's right-handed, he's all these check the boxes off for I'm about to get paid. But I am super interested to see where the top free agent of 2020 goes, because if you're the top free agent, you should be getting paid, but no one's got any money right now. Then, of course, there's the concern of signing a guy to big money that'll go into his mid-30s, but that sounds like a later on problem. I doubt you're signing Alex Pietrangelo because your team sucks. You're trying to win now, and he helps you do that. And that's why he's my top free agent of 2020. So, what do you think? I know I left some names off. I did it to offend you personally, so let me know about it in the comment box down below. So, before this video goes out of date, let's wrap this up. That is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. Man, I really wish I kept up with those skating lessons. I could be a millionaire.